drinking in the courtroom.
This first time he's eating breakfast in the courtroom. All right. Today is April 27th. We'll call this regularly scheduled meeting of Boyle County Fiscal Court into order, and we'll start out today with an invocation by Magistrate Phil Sammons. Phil?
Thank you, Judge. Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gorgeous day you've given us to do as we see fit. Lord, we just ask you to be with us. We ask special prayer for our military people throughout the world who's given us protection we enjoy here today. We also ask you to be with our first responders. We know what a great job they do. Lord, we also ask you to be with this court. Lord, don't let minor things pull us apart. Minor things should pull us together, Lord. We ask you to be with us. Lord, we ask you to be with this court. May we make the right decisions that would be becoming to our taxpayers. Lord, be with us now as we go through this meeting. I ask all this in Jesus Christ's precious name I pray. Amen.
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 All right, if you will stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the approval of prior meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made to approve the minutes as presented by Magistrate Sammons and seconded by Magistrate Short. Yes, sir.
This is, I think, for your first time doing the minutes, you did a great job, and I appreciate that. There's one thing that I think our minutes should include, that when a motion is made and is passed, that if it was passed unanimously, that be included as a term in that recording. Because like I say, you did great. We have motion carries, but it doesn't tell whether it was a 4-2 or 5-1
Okay.
or
Usually
unanimous. And I think the term unanimous needs to be a part of it because
okay, we will do that going forward on voice votes where there is no abstention or no abstaining or a nay vote. It will be recorded as unanimous if there is no vote against.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other change? That's not really a change, Sean. It's
It's
just
really not a change. It's just I noticed it, and I think it's a little clearer if we do it that way.
Good job, Bill.
Since I'm getting stuff electronically, that wasn't in my packet. The meeting minutes was not in my packet. So. Sorry. No, it's fine. I didn't get an email packet. I mean, that did not get in my email. So.
Did it? Huh? Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next, we will, this month is the month of May. Coming up is on your agenda. It says Earl Coffey. The month of May is Mental Health Month, and it's a very significant observance. And I'm going to read. Oh, yep. Got to approve the bills. Yep. Okay. We'll Mariah's here. Mariah, can you give us the statement on the bills, please? She's going into the witness stand.
Raise your right hand.
You didn't have to make all that trip.
So the total for standing orders comes to $313,928.22. The total for bills to be paid comes to $103,192.43.
I move we pay the bills as presented.
Second.
All right, the motion to approve the bills is presented by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Is there any questions, comments, or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. We have probably some budget transfers and cash transfers. I think that our treasurer, I would surmise that he's having some vehicular problems getting here. So I would, we will defer that until later in the agenda if it's okay with the court, and we'll move on with the consent calendar and come back. The first thing, as I started to mention a while ago, was that in a joint proclamation with the city of Danville, at the request of Earl Coffey and the mayor, is that we proclaim Mental Health Month. And I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans face challenges in life that can impact their mental health, especially during a pandemic, and whereas prevention in an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health and conditions, and whereas there are practical tools that all people can use to improve their mental health and increase resiliency, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, as 1 in 5 people will experience a mental health condition during their lifetime, and whereas with screenings and effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizens share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention, and treatment efforts. Therefore, Judge Howard B. Hunt and the Magistrates of Boyle County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Mental Health Month and calls upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, schools, including our partners at the Boyle County Fiscal Court and Ephraim McDowell Regional Medical Center in Danville and Boyle County to commit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health and steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. And so I join with the city in that proclamation moving forward, and I would like a vote of approval for the proclamation to be signed jointly by the city and the county.
Make a motion to approve the proclamation.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Sammons to approve the joint proclamation and seconded by Magistrate Ellis. And any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and that motion to support this proclamation passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Next, I have just for acknowledgement in the absence of our county clerk, I have would like to present the court for acknowledgement the first quarter report in the absence of our county clerk, and as presented to me, I have basically 2 copies, and of the cumulative report for the first quarter of Boyle County and all accounts, and her reconciled balance. The beginning balance is plus receipts for year to date. Well, let's just do the 2021 account actual totals was $3,159,000 and change, and the total disbursements were $2,514,000, and the reconciled bank balance is $644,798. So I would petition the court to recognize for the record the acceptance of the Boyle County Clerk's first quarter report.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Nick? Huh?
Second.
Second it, okay. And just for a matter of acknowledgement, the motion to, not a motion, but to acknowledge the receipt of the first quarter report was made by Magistrate Short and seconded by Magistrate Gay. and I don't think we really need a vote, but it's just acknowledgement by the court for record. Okay? Next, we have, are you ready? Okay. All right. We will back up just a step or two, and we'll talk about budget transfers.
So I left all the beautiful copies I made.
You may, over here, Keegan, at this mic, if you don't mind.
Left all the beautiful copies I made at 6:30 this morning on my desk downstairs, but I got
Mr. Cullen's right here. I'll give it to him as soon as I get done. I got budget transfer. There, I didn't do any last time, so there's a lot this time. First one is Judge Executive Office supplies. We got Sheriff Cruiser Repair and Maintenance. We got Treasurer Salary, Treasurer FICA, Treasurer Retirement, EMA Utilities. Is it on? It's on. You can't hear me? I'll speak up a little bit for you. Okay. Yeah. EMA Utilities, Recycling Facility and Maintenance, Constitution Square Contract Labor, our Audit, Contract Services, and Tax Admin Refunds, and that's all out of the General Fund. And that totals $12,010.86. In Public Works, in our road department, we have facility repairs and maintenance, facility maintenance supplies, facility office supplies, and that totals $748.64. For the jail, we got COVID salaries, and that totals $3269.68. For our health, we got employee vision claim payments, which totals $1247.42. And for EMS, we have COVID sick leave, our medical director, maintenance and repairs to the building, and our maintenance contracts and our EMS medical supplies, and that totals $5602.23. The total of all those, I'd have to add them up by fund. By fund. Do you want me? Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? You got anything to pass out to anybody on that, or do we hit, huh? Okay. Does anybody have any questions on any of that as far as the budget transfers? Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the budget transfers.
Make a motion to approve the budget transfers.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Sammons. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Short. Questions, comments, discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, cash transfers.
No cash transfers.
All right, very good. Good job. All right, we'll get back on track with the quarterly budget report from our sheriff, Derrick Robbins. I wonder if he could hear me through that door or not. Put you on the witness stand, Sheriff.
Promise. Absolutely. And I assume I'm just presenting the quarterly report this time? Okay. Which, it's early in the year, and if anybody has any questions on any of the numbers, we're going along.
Looks like that would be $316,518.
Yes.
Your receipts to the date $551,000 change, and total disbursement $235,153.
The reason that is so high right now is because we have the money for the cameras from the CARES Act fund, and that'll obviously be distributed here within the next few weeks, honestly. Other than that, it's just the normal. I think we've collected about 66,000 in commissions this year, which is about average. I think we budgeted like 700,000 on our tax collection. The transports are kind of going up a little bit, which is on the conveying convicts.
Is that picking up, opening up transport?
A little bit. It's just not really for court because they're still doing a lot of that virtual. It's mainly facility to facility transports that's picking up a little bit because the numbers are down and people are, vaccinated or have already had it and are immune. Trying to look and see if there's anything else that stood out to me. Nothing. I mean, it's a fairly normal year so far. So we're.
Yes, sir. You mentioned the cameras there, so not related to your quarterly report, but could you?
I was going to ask him for an update. Let's just do this procedurally, right? Let's accept by acknowledgement a motion and a motion to accept the quarterly report. Second, made by Magistrate Gay, seconded by Magistrate Short, to acknowledge the receipt of the sheriff's quarterly report. And now we could ask questions about the camera update as far as when you think we're in good shape here locally.
Here
we're ready.
We will be ready within a few weeks. Watch the problem. We have one more camera to install into the cars. The infrastructure is getting close to being completely set up here, and Bill probably knows a little bit more about the specifics of that. But the issue that we're having is WatchGuard is so backdated right now with the addition of new cameras in different agencies and different, all over the country. I think the last number was the middle of June now. It was May 29th. It was. Sam told me last week that they've changed it to early, middle June. And it's like a 4-hour process. They just have to show up, do whatever they do.
Can we ask that we get our representative from Watchdog to come into court and maybe have a conversation with us to get this shored up?
I can ask, but we got 18 cameras and I think Nashville spent $20 million. And
the $20 million order is getting ahead of our 230.
I think they are just.
But
plus
we can ask, but that's where we.
Yeah, I can talk to Sam and have them and see if they're able to do that.
Have them virtual.
And that's possible too. I guess that probably.
I would just like to put a little heat on them. I don't care how much Nashville spent. We spent hard-earned tax dollars too, and all the money should matter. Orders matter. It doesn't matter. John and I can both tell you, a one-item purchase or a 50-item purchase gets the same level of customer service in my eyes. So.
And I think their numbers, from a employee standpoint, are down right now too, because they weren't going out to different sites during COVID. So the people that they've laid off, I assume, will be coming back, which may increase their numbers to be able to.
Department like ours is low-hanging fruit, though. If it's something that get knocked out, let's get ours knocked
out. And from what I understand, it's only about a 4-hour day from what they said to get everything started.
As opposed to like a 2 or 3 day operation for something larger. So yeah.
Right. So,
but let's contact them and
I'll talk to Sam.
See what we can do. I'd like to hear directly from them, because I agree with Master Cullen that, if we were in the pecking order before them, we ought to be before them. If it takes 4 hours, send somebody down here and let's get her done. But, if it's, because I can dare say that Nashville's volume would take more than 4 hours to be able to cover the volume.
I would assume, but they're running wires up there, and I don't even know what I would have never guessed that it was this
intensive.
Just such a so many components involved.
When the 4 hours, will you have all your people together at that time, or will it go with you and you have the class, or what?
We're going to have a class before that. Once they get here, they do what they do to set it up, and our cameras right now don't have anything to go to, so there's no fuses in them. The only thing we have to do with our cars is put the fuse in it so that it'll power up and work. So we'll have a class before that. Once they come and start it, as they get it.
We'll know how to
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Once they start it, there should not be, I mean, we're gonna have some technical problems, and I don't know what those will be, but it's a new system and all that, but once they finish the whole, whatever they do, turn the switches and set it up, we'll be ready to go.
Well, I'm anxious, and we all are more than anxious to get these things fielded and in use.
Yeah, I am too.
So,
Will it be hard to train them to always keep it on?
No, because it comes on its by itself. Yeah, if you turn your light switch on, there's 4 cameras in the system. All of them come on at one time.
Come on them automatically.
Your body camera and the car, all of it. It all comes on at one time.
That's good.
it is good, it is good. Well, let's just see what we can do to try to, I just hate that it keeps sliding to the right. And
I agree.
We need to put a stop in there if we
Yep.
can.
Yeah,
If we can.
I agree.
Anybody got anything else?
I've noticed on here, of course, part of your budget's your concealed carry, which I know has taken a hit in,
Is it on the second page? I'm sorry. Yes.
in the last couple of years
Uh-huh.
because of,
The law change.
law change. I still highly encourage people to get their concealed carry.
Yeah.
And I did mine online and made it 100 times easier. I was able to do it on my phone, took a picture with my phone, sent it off. I had it in 2 weeks. I don't even know if it took that long. So if anybody has their concealed carry or thinking about it, last thing you want to do is get used to carrying into Kentucky and then end up in Tennessee.
That's the main issue is that
Right.
if you travel, you need that permit because other states don't recognize
Right.
our carry law.
Yeah.
Don't drive through Illinois.
Definitely.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's really no
so-
reason to.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, that would be my 2 cents on your budget here is,
Yeah.
is
Sheriff, if he does it that way though, you don't get credit for it, do you?
You get a fee?
We do.
they still
Yeah, I
get a
think
fee.
We
you
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they pick it up, they pay it. Yeah.
Yep.
They do. And it's at 12,000. It used to be around 25 or 30.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago.
I want to see you.
Huh, I'm sorry?
I said, I want to come in and renew mine in person.
Yeah. Come on down. It's
Well, I,
For another 4 years.
I didn't even realize the option, so I would just say to your staff,
Sure.
Encourage that, because when I called, I was gonna have to go through the process of getting another card, but then
Right.
when I talked to the state, they said, oh, you can do it online, and so much easier.
yes. Yeah, but we do still get.
Well, you
The
don't
po-
know
the-
when that window's gonna close.
That's right.
I'm sorry?
That, you don't know when that window's gonna close.
No.
You know, that it's gonna change.
Right.
That you've got to get
Right.
concealed weapons.
Yeah.
Do it the old fashioned way.
That's right.
All right, anybody got anything else, Sheriff? We'll move along. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Good job.
If you send Angela in, I'd appreciate
will.
it.
As long as she's not blocking the door. Sorry.
Right there, Miss Angie.
Good morning. I'll be real quick. That you have the Lamar contract.
Yes.
This is for my litter education. We'll do the 2 billboards again, and they have a new digital one out on 127 that I'm gonna also put in. All the dates are different. This time I've changed it. Used to, we done the 2 billboards were just in November, but I think it should be more than just November, so I've sort of spaced it out a little bit. But this, just for Keegan's purpose, I'm gonna go ahead and do this with the PO through the M&M education account. It is, so I'm just gonna go ahead and, for this fiscal year, even though it will be next fiscal year, it's on the billboards, we're just gonna go ahead and, that'll be my litter education for the year.
So, I know that this comes through grants, most of this money, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything we could use this money on outside of the billboards?
Sure.
I don't know how much attention billboards get if we're gonna spend $2,500 on
How
it.
much attention does anything else get that we
I
do?
know, that's why I'm just trying to think, is there anything?
I
else
use
out there?
social media, I use everything, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I know
just,
I'm just trying to think outside the box of just plaster them up.
I think billboards are good. I mean, you know.
I mean, it's as good as
When you say
anything else you
when you
use.
say digital, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's one, yeah, it's a new one. I haven't seen it either, but they were, it's
They
just
get
brand
my attention
new.
More than just the paper billboards.
Well, I agree with you. That billboard catches the eye. I think it does.
Well, you need your eyes on the road, sir. That's my 2 cents.
Let's be nice to the older magistrates. We just the magistrate when you.
But I think they're good. I think they're just as good as any, you know, any other kind of advertising you do. You know, I do all kind of advertising, but.
I was just throwing it out there. Sometimes
That's
we kind of,
fine.
not to use words get stuck in our ways. I just wanted to see if there's anything else that we possibly could do.
The only thing, you know, I did take away the movie theater ad. It was
remember
was
you doing
old
that.
and it was just
Yeah.
not,
Well,
didn't
Motion to
purpose
approve
anymore.
the Lamar contract.
We have a motion to approve the Lamar contract, made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Any other questions?
No.
Just like to make a comment that we learned in one of our seminars that each year Kentuckians are paying in tax dollars, Robin, over $10 million for litter abatement. And everything that we do with solid waste that will alleviate that means taxpayer dollars are saved.
I think Robbins put that before. We've
We
had
need it
that
again.
discussion and I give her those figures before. She done a article for us on the litter problem.
We certainly need the public to understand.
For our Environmental Services Department, I think litter abatement gets a lot of attention, both from that department and from our detention center. And it's unfortunate that we have so much attention that we need to pay in our county, and we need to do better about that. So the awareness should, hopefully, if you think logically, the awareness about litter should help decrease its prominence in the county along our roadsides and everything. But it also, you know, all this money that we're spending is to help keep Boyle County clean and beautiful and everything else. I don't know how we get to the public to get them to be more respectful of where we are.
Well, they need to understand, Judge, what portion of their tax money it takes to do this, right, Angela?
It's
Absolutely.
tax-paying money.
Yeah.
You know, everybody hollers, you know, it's my tax-paying money. Well, it is their tax-paying money.
Paying for it. You know, if you want to throw it out, you're going to pay for it later.
Yeah, pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah.
But anyway, is there any other comments, questions? If not, we'll, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Angie. Could you send in Duane? All right.
You're up.
Thank you. That's the hot box.
All right. Have 4 things on the agenda, but we're only going to talk about 2. Well, we're going to talk about the third one too. First is Arnold Road.
Yes.
Okay. I have, the reason for the holdup is the low bidder, who at one time was, as we told you last meeting, was on the pre-qualified bidders list with the state. His application had expired, and he was unable to get reinstated. And they met this past week about it. That's why we were waiting.
From the state.
Yes.
on that.
So I have received confirmation from them that he is not a pre-qualified bidder. As a matter of fact, he and I talked last night. He understands that we have to move on. So I'm here to present to you the second low bidder, who is Todd Johnson Construction. And their bid.
He is on the approved list.
He is on the approved list. Their bid was $60,328.18.
What was the previous bid that cannot be?
45,000.
60,000. I don't have this in front of me, so what was it,
60,000. $60,328.18.
That's the next lowest.
I move we approve the low bid for the culvert project.
Second.
And I have also already received approval from Kelly Baker, which has to be achieved too, so.
Okay, so the motion to approve the Arnold Road box culvert bid from, right on right now is made by Magistrate Game, seconded by Magistrate Short. And, any other questions, comments, or discussions?
Just as a discussion item, do we have in all of these the clause that I've seen in other contracts where we can refuse all bids and start over again?
Yes.
That is a significant difference in the bid. That's taxpayer dollars again.
Yes, but they have to be pre-qualified bidder to even be eligible to do this project.
Two of the bids.
How long do we want to wait? Because it takes a while to get on that pre-qualified list. They just met last week, is my understanding.
Right, we only have 6 weeks to get this project
Yeah,
finished now.
we don't have time.
We've given him every chance we can, and he understands that. We've worked with
I
him.
think the two, if I remember right, I think the two bids that were in the middle are both pre-qualified companies.
Yes, yes,
That there were 4 bids, one was
Yes.
low.
One was way high.
Really high.
yes.
And the two that were pre-qualified bidders
Pretty
were
close.
pretty much right together.
Right, the Allen Company's bid was $62,000, so there's $2,000 difference between those two bids.
Where's the Johnson, is it Johnson, where are they located?
They're local.
Third Danville.
Todd
I come
Johnson.
through there this morning, and they had signs, flagging signs out. Are they getting ready to blacktop that road?
Oh, wait a minute now, were they talking about Arnold Road? Listen.
I don't know about Stewart. You're talking about Stewart, aren't you?
On road, so I thought maybe they was getting ready to do that bridge.
They may be doing some drainage work prior to the resurfacing. I don't know that they've let the resurfacing project yet.
Okay. All right, anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next,
Thank you. We received,
Constitution Square roof project.
all right, both Constitution Square projects, we received no bids. So I'll have to start over.
What, you got any idea why?
No.
I don't.
One contractor that we did reach out to is just all of a sudden picked up 2 or 3 big jobs, and they just didn't feel like they could get to it. But that's the only one we talked to. The others never did communicate with us.
Now, we did communicate during one of the bid openings, one contractor expressed potential interest in doing some things there, didn't he?
Yes, we sent him some information about it,
So,
but he did not, he was unaware of it this time, but anyway.
Just very few people do that in there, Duane, I guess.
Do what?
There are just very few people that actually do that.
That's true, and we tried to reach out to 3 or 4, contractors locally and let them know about it, to make them aware of it, but
Would it be wise that we have that in writing and in the file in case somebody hurt themselves on the sidewalk, that we can show that we tried?
hopefully it's in the minutes,
We
because
tried
I mean,
to
we,
get it fixed,
it'd
but
be at
it
least
wasn't.
in the minutes that we
Right.
tried and there's been no
Just
bids.
As long as we got something to fall back
Yeah.
on, just in case. I hope nothing happens.
Me too.
Well, I
Well,
think
what-
this is a good opportunity for us to kind of push back on the council and say, we can't even find people to repair this stuff. Can we have options where we can get people, where we can get this stamped?
The stamp, maybe so, maybe
I
so.
mean, this is a good
I think,
opportunity to help with this.
that we-
we'll reach out, Julie and I will reach out to him again.
Yeah, and.
Julie and I are going to meet with the Heritage Council folks
Oh.
and see
Okay.
what leeway we might be able to gain.
On a couple of things, the door
Yeah.
to the schoolhouse
Right.
and
And the
this.
That's what I
sidewalk.
thought. Yeah, I think this is a good opportunity.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect, like he says, a perfect reason to bring up why we want to do something
Yeah.
else.
Well,
Actually-
and one suggestion while you're meeting with them is ask them for a contractor list, if they have one. We did not reach out outside of Danville.
If they have a contractor list, we could sure use that.
There is a company that is able to access our advertisements in the local paper, and they do send that out. So contractors outside of town do see it, but
No way that your people can repair that or replace that sidewalk.
if we had time, we're
That
getting ready
is
to go
a
into mowing
huge
season.
undertaking, folks.
We're getting ready to go into mowing season.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I had brickwork done, just a 4x5 spot on my house that needed to get done. It took 4 months to get somebody out there, and now
Yeah.
it's me pulling strings and talking to friends and trying to get.
You're right, a lot of people are really busy, and that's a good thing, but they're all really busy.
Well,
I
and
wonder if we
Well-
have any inmates
And
that
we-
would be interested lot of times we have qualified people
Yeah.
that's sitting in there, and, you know, it don't look to me like it'd take any heavyweight to
Well-
be able to replace a sidewalk.
We'll explore some other possibilities. I did find a product that the judge kind of put us on the idea, and I just kept exploring it. I found something that would work, but I found a product that we can put underneath the brick other than concrete, which makes the job much more simple, or simplifies the project
Okay.
significantly, so. We did talk to another contractor a much smaller contractor, but he does brickwork, and he says, I can't take on that project, it's too big for just myself, and I can't get anybody to help me. That was another reply we got.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, the sales, I mean, the help is the big issue.
Anyway, we'll back up, we'll probably, is Keegan in here? We'll probably carry that project over into the next fiscal year now, because here we are at the end of April, there's no way we can get it done and get it paid for.
And
by
the
end of
roofs
fiscal
are
year.
a real critical issue.
Yeah, so, well, we don't have any leaks, our time is good.
Today.
But we're not far away from that probably. But fortunately, we don't have any leaks, that's why we want to start now, we want to be progressive and.
All right,
Because
let's
these
move
are-
on to the HVAC.
Okay.
Preventive maintenance.
The HVAC preventive maintenance, we had already advertised prior to our last meeting, and you all asking to include the jail. So we took those bids, and we had 9 bidders, believe it or not. And the low bid was Alpha Mechanical out of Louisville, and their bid was $8,800 a year. $8,800. Now, that's just for the courthouse and for the front portion of the government services building, recycling, our road department and EMS. We reached out to the 3 low bidders and asked them for quotes for the jail, and we've received 2, and the third one was supposed to send us something, but we have not seen it yet. So I do have 2 quotes for the jail, but we're fine to wait till the next meeting and see if we get that third quote. And then I can present that to you for the jail portion of the preventive maintenance contract.
Now, we did get quotes on a 1-year, a 3-year, and a 5-year quote on the preventive maintenance.
Yes.
So
And
what's
they're-
year 3 and 5 for Alpha?
And it's just multiplied out. There's no,
Multiply by
no
3 by 5.
No discount.
no discount or no, increase for inflation. Some of them showed increases for inflation over those years. So anyway, his $8,800 for 1 year, $26,400 for 3, and $44,000 for 5.
So did the court decide if they want to accept the low bid contract from Alpha in Louisville for preventive maintenance on EMS, Public Works, and environmental services? It would be, but your decision on whether you want to go to 1 year or 3 year or 5 year.
We don't look
Now,
like you're giving any discount to go through it by 3 years, about the same rate.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
it is.
I will add that Perfection Group was the second low bidder, and their bid was $9,792 for 1 year. So it's about $1,000 difference, close to it.
So are you asking us to vote on this now, or wait till we get the third bid? What are we talking about?
Well, I guess we could wait till the third bid, but the third bid will be all the jail 20 or
It's gonna be
so,
separate.
Separate, we're just going to the same people that were the top 3 low bidders. And, so I think we could approve, the bid, however you want to do it, and, pick a term of 1
I don't
year.
mean to be a
3 years,
whiner, but my
whatever.
own,
Say we go with 1 year, I make a motion, we go with 1 year.
And then do this all over again in a year?
yeah, well, that's the problem. I mean, next year they could
Yeah,
up
why
it
wouldn't
on
you want to
us.
lock them in?
One thing about it, if you do 3 years or 5 years, you've locked it in for that many years.
Right.
Yeah.
Next year could, I mean, they could get in there and see the mess that it might be. They're like, oh, it's gonna cost us twice as much.
Well, there's one good point to the 1 year. This is a company we're not familiar with.
And they're coming from Louisville as
So,
well.
but 3 years not bad either, but, a shorter term might not be a bad idea with a company we're not
Do we
familiar with.
have like an idea of service expectations, how quickly they'll get to us when we have a problem? Is there any of that?
Well, this is just preventive maintenance. We can call on them if we have,
Preventive maintenance, it's not.
I understand that. Okay, it's not a, so.
we
yeah,
don't have to call them for a repair.
Yeah.
We can use local for repairs.
Yes.
I would
They'd
consider
schedule it then.
going with Alpha's low bid and do it for 1 year.
My only pet peeve right now is
I agree, I think that would be better.
Or we could go 3, but you know, one or 3, but not 5.
No, definitely not 5, but
You're not getting any, the only thing you're doing, locking it in for 3 years, you're not getting any discount.
No, you're not.
I'm a visual person. If I could have these things in front of me, these numbers in front of me so I can look at them ahead of time,
You should have.
I don't have them.
Well, there's no guarantee that it's not gonna go up a lot higher next year if you do a one-year contract.
I guess I should go back to getting paper stuff.
Did you make a motion, Peter?
Yes, I did.
We had to address that motion.
Okay, what was the motion?
Motion to go with 1 year,
With Alpha
yes.
from Louisville? Okay, the motion's made to go with Alpha Contracting, from Louisville, made by Magistrate Sammons.
Second.
Is there a second? Seconded by Magistrate Kaywood. Now we can ask questions or discussion.
Do we ask them to, if they're willing to put in their contract, the option to extend it? And then if we're happy with them, we can extend it for a year or 2?
No downside.
Not that, I'd say.
Huh?
Do what?
I'd say it'd be a good option to do
I
that.
think, yeah.
If they're willing. I
to
mean,
do
they'll,
it.
well, that'd have to be up to them because it was not spec'd that way.
Right.
But,
For clarity, on a maintenance contract, if it's at your home, they come, they've been there, $80, and they're gone.
No, this is preventative. This is not maintenance.
Not maintenance.
This
Not
is
maintenance,
just, they're gonna come
preventative.
out, how many times a month?
they'll come every 2 months to the jail and change the filters and check the belts and everything
To
like
just the
that.
jail or to?
Well, everything else is more, is
So
quarterly.
there would be a system for identification of problems as they develop.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. I second the motion if it didn't get that.
It was seconded by
And this is 1 year?
1 year.
And he's asking to build in the option.
And then
Ask them.
they could deny.
They'll roll
They
it.
could say, no, we don't want to do that, but.
But we don't want to make a contingency on that, I guess,
No, we don't.
but it's a good idea.
So, again, without seeing anything, but everyone else has increased except for this one. Everyone else has built in like a 3% increase, all the other.
No.
No, a lot of them did the
Not-
same thing.
Not all of them. A lot of them were just straight,
Just multiply it by 3 by 5.
right. A few of them
You
did,
had said that some of them had,
some of them, yes. A couple
Okay.
of them did build in inflation, for the 5 years. But most of them were just straight, they kept the same price for each year. And I don't recall if any of them, I don't think any of them discounted it for multiple years.
If it was, it wasn't noticeable.
Yeah.
Call for question.
You want to give him a second to review?
Oh, really?
Okay.
why bother? Why do our job?
All right. All those in favor of approving Alpha as the contractor for preventive maintenance at the Government Service Center on the bid for 1 year, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign.
Aye.
And note that there's one opposed vote from Magistrate Cullen on that.
This is silly because we've got everybody else that's up here and we have 2 that are under 10,000. Everyone else is 13, 14, 20. We're going to get ourselves into a problem here where next year we're going to probably pay a lot more and we could have locked them in.
We're
So
moving on to something else, that's already been voted on.
I thought we had a fiscal responsibility, but I'm sorry.
Okay, Duane, and nothing else?
That's it. I'm going to hold on to these other 2 quotes, these 2 quotes for the jail, and hopefully we get the third one, and I'll bring that back at the next meeting.
court?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the contract, I mean, it'll just push it for a couple of weeks, but, our current contract expires at the end of this week, actually, so our timing's fine.
Judge, clarification while we have Duane. Our crews are doing Tuggle and Crawford, so we don't have to put that out for bids, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
Our own folks are doing Tuggle and Crawford, so we don't have to send that out.
Oh, yeah, no, we did Crawford yesterday.
Got it done, and Tuggle's in the.
Tuggle's in the works. We have to get it marked, have to get utilities marked, and we have to get, we have the tile, so.
Gotcha, good.
Okay, well, Dane, if you'll send Mike Rogers in, I'd appreciate it. Morning, Mike. Morning. Right there. No. All right. You want us to consider 2 full-time EMT hires?
Yeah. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Court. Wanting to consider 2 full-time hires today, Savannah Fox and Christina Courtwright. Both are part-time employees that we're wanting to put full-time status to help cover some of the open shifts.
I make a motion, we hire them full-time.
Motion to hire the 2 presented folks to become full-time EMTs.
Second.
Made by Magistrate Sammons and seconded, seconded by Magistrate, drawing a blank here. Tom V. Ellis. And, discussion, comments, questions.
Is this replacing anybody?
So we've been talking for a while about just hiring, going back to full staff, not using part-timers because it's just not been working for us. And so that's what we're doing. Basically, it won't be any change in the budget. We'll just move the money to, instead of going to a part-timer, to a full-timer.
That was my next question.
Yes, sir.
If it's in the budget.
It actually saves us money.
Committee recommends it.
Yes, sir, John.
I'd just add to it, the committee did recommend it. The committee, there was a lot of time spent in discussion with Mike, and he presented it, and Jason feels like what I'm saying is correct. We were both there, so we were in favor of it, but it was looked at for quite a while.
Agreed.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Mike. Let's see. Next, I guess I can bring that up. We have the interlocal agreement here that the City of Danville has been working on to discuss, that addresses the creation of the Economic Development Authority. And of course, this wasn't on last week's agenda, but we asked the court if they wanted to discuss it. Not necessarily looking for a vote today. I just wanted to discuss this proposal. Now, some people may have thought that I was slow playing the bringing this to the court, which is furthest from the truth that it could possibly be. I had no communications that I was aware of, nor council was aware of. I'm not speaking for you, council, but from version 1 of this initial agreement that was created at the City of Danville. So I didn't have anything to bring to you. But I was informed recently, and I think I did get a communique from counsel for the city stating this, and so this is what they're working with as they look to move forward. There is the biggest thing, I think you all have had a copy of this to look at and review, is the composition of the authority by the local agreement, and that was in section 4 about the composition, where there would be the City of Danville Mayor, Boyle County Judge Executive, City Manager of the City of Danville, 1 magistrate appointed by the Boyle County Fiscal Court, 1 at-large member appointed by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Danville, and 1 at-large member appointed by the Boyle County Fiscal Court. They would work with a, then there's a provision in there where the board and the County Board of Commissioners of the City of Danville and the Boyle County Fiscal Court shall jointly appoint 1 non-governmental individual member to serve as chair of the authority, without compensation. And each member should be a legal resident of Boyle County, and the city board, Danville Board of Commissioners may also select a past mayor to serve as an ex officio non-voting member, and the same with the Boyle County Fiscal Court, should they desire to, a past judge executive to serve as an ex officio non-voting member. To my understanding, that is the crux of this versional change. And council, do you have any other comments about that and what I've said?
Yeah, I mean, I looked through both agreements and I mean, there's some just grammatical errors. I don't know.
There's no substantive,
No, I mean, there's some things I don't like.
I do, I want you, yeah, speak freely.
Change them.
All right, I mean, just paragraph 7.
Of the proposed,
I mean, it's both, I mean, it's the same for
or the ordinance?
ordinance and agreement, you know, where it talks about one person withdraws, goes to withdrawing local government shall be entitled to the return of any money or property advancing the authority. I don't like that. What if they're doing something wrong, legal withdrawals, we're not part of that anymore, then they just get, keep the money that we've invested in the property that we purchased or whatever. I don't like that. And then the 8th paragraph talks about the duration of the agreement. This is a terminate only upon dissolution of the authority. All right, that's fine with that, but also there needs to be something in there that talks about should there be a dissolution, and it could be a mutual dissolution, but we need to talk about how the property money would be divided at that time, because usually in operating agreements and so forth, it talks about what happens when there's a dissolution, how the other party buys the other party out, or so forth. So, I mean, I think that that's something that needs to be in the agreement about if there is a dissolution.
Do you think there's a provision in the statute that is cited here to give a dissolution of a interlocal agreement like that? I'm suppose there is. I'm curious that if it's statutorily based.
I mean, I can look more into that, but I mean, that's just.
I agree with everything you said.
That's just two things that, and other than that, I mean, everything's fine. I mean, I don't know if, you know, it says the mayor, ex-mayor or whatever. I don't know why you would limit it to just an ex-mayor or whatever.
Yeah, I don't understand why that needs to be in the actual ordinance.
I agree.
The city, I mean, they can pick who they want to pick. It doesn't matter that it has to list, because this will be interpreted down the road that it has to be a ex-judge or ex-mayor by leaving that in there. So unless somebody pulls it out and reads it, you know, specifically, but a lot of times it just gets thought of like, oh, this is what we've done in the past, so we need to keep like an ex-judge or an ex-mayor on there. So yeah, I definitely would say strike that out. If they want to put somebody on there, that's who they can put on there, but that's
Not needed.
not needed, and that's somebody's.
I agree. I think I would envision, and I don't know, I haven't really discussed it, but I would think that would only exist for the sole purpose of continuity of process should there be a change by election. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, but
I think elections have consequences, that if somebody's been voted out, there's a reason they've been voted out. So that's why.
It leaves them the option.
Yeah.
Do what now?
It does leave the option of a mayor, or former mayor.
Well, there's already an at-large member on the.
Exactly.
Make it two.
So I don't know.
Well, again, we don't want to get into the fiasco that we have now of where EDP has so many members on it. It sounds like that's what we're going back to. They've got, you've got, 20 people almost on there. That's not needed, and that's where we're running into problems. So if we keep making this so large that it's going to be an issue, that last part of the paragraph just doesn't even need to be there. They can select whoever they want to select. We can select whoever we want to select, and just go from there.
And in terms of the size, I agree so much with Magistrate Cullen, and I was asking Julie Wagner about that, and it is statutory that it's limited to a board of 7, which I think is extremely healthy. We've seen too many boards, too many commissions, too many committees with 15, 18, 20 people, and it becomes a morass.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I agree with that. The only notation is that this past mayor and past judge, it's non-voting, so it's purely advisory council for continuity, I see. I don't know, it's a non-voting position, they don't carry the weight of how we proceed or financially move.
To
if we
move
go
things
that route.
forward, would it be wise for a couple of us to sit with a couple council members and with?
That always works well.
I don't know. I don't know.
So what is the purpose of the EDA? What are we seeing this? Because that's where, I still don't see what the need or purpose. I just see this as the county getting in land acquisition and development with the city, and we've not had a good track record of that working well, and this costing millions of dollars when we've already got economic development professionals that do this work for us. So I'm still struggling with what our purpose is here in doing this.
I think we need to have this joint meeting. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have a joint meeting with the city to discuss these kinds of.
Yeah, we sat in the basement last time and just listened, and we didn't have an
Yeah, I
opportunity
know,
for input.
I know. We need to do better about that.
But until they're willing to sit with us, I feel like we just need to
Just
That's why I
talk
was
about
thinking-
it.
do this and move on because we need to get all in the same room. Thank you, Bill.
I'd prefer that big meeting because my stopgap was a small group to try to make some progress, but we'll make better progress if we're all in the same room.
I gave them 3 dates, they picked one, and then I never heard back. So, of course, I struck it off your spring schedule. But I haven't talked to Earl today. I'll bring that up again. Until we can all sit around the table and hash out the philosophical questions, I don't see us moving forward with this.
Judge, I make a
don't either.
motion
I don't
that
either.
we appeal to the city of Danville for a joint meeting of both bodies.
We're doing that through Julie today in her conversation with Earl. And I think that's the only way we can really and truly move forward is to sit together and talk things out. But the reason I brought it up.
7 and 8 are really important that Chris brought up, that we address those, because those are huge.
What we just talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. If you got some suggestive language as an alternative to what is here, it's worth, you know, us all considering that, especially in a, you know.
Why do
to
we
be able to
think
move.
that we could even work with the city?
We have to
haven't
try.
been able- We haven't been able to work with the city on anything.
Well,
It's either their way or the highway.
We got a different viewpoint
So-
on wagon now, though.
I don't see going down the rabbit hole. What's that?
Well,
Well, we got different people, the only thing, it's,
Hey,
John?
you,
I
not
agree
really.
with you, yeah.
What did they do last night? Do you know they were gonna have, and I didn't watch it either, so I don't know.
Robin, you have any idea what, okay.
I think they passed the second reading, but don't hold me to it.
Of this? Of what?
And the county wasn't even notified that they was doing this?
We
yeah, I mean,
knew
it's
there
on
were
their
meetings.
agenda.
Okay. I didn't see it, I didn't watch it.
So what
I can't
happens
tell
if
you
we
for
make
sure.
changes? How are they voting on something we haven't
We can't,
collectively?
no way we gonna work with it.
That's why we
hammered
need,
out.
that's why we need to have the
Say that.
meeting together,
Amen.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
It makes, gives everybody a chance in this room to ask questions and feel comfortable in the answers.
yeah.
And work out what they needed. I think they did this for their side, realizing that we're a little behind from where they are time-wise.
That's not our fault. I want to
That's
be
not
clear
our
about
fault, and I'm
that.
not saying it is. They're just, but in time, we are not as far along in the discussion as they are. And that's why we need to come together.
And to answer Magistrate Gay's question, this has worked well in other areas. Just because we haven't worked well, like to Magistrate Short, because the city and the county haven't worked well together in the past, I would hope that at some point we can actually like bury whatever and start working well together, because we have to collectively try to do something to save our community and save our economic development. It's what we have has not worked for several years.
I disagree with that part of the
Well, that's the
comment.
great thing
I
about
mean,
this. You can disagree, but
I've I was on the task force and I observed.
How many
this
years
in
ago
other
was that though, Jamie?
County. 2.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can just look south to Somerset and Pulaski County. They're doing fantastic things.
No,
E-Town as well.
I'm just
E-Town
saying,
as well.
I guess my point that I keep making in the whole having our eyes wide open in this is, I'm not opposed to us investing more money in economic development. We need to, but I think, and what that structure looks like, I think is still up for discussion and debate.
I don't see
But I think
land
we
as
need
the only
to-
issue here.
Wait a minute, he's talking, let him finish, please.
But I think we need to realize that these communities are investing millions of dollars in this prospect, and that was one of the things we learned. And so, if we're in a position where we're willing to go into partnership with the city and invest millions of dollars in land acquisition and development of industrial land, then that's what we're talking about. I think we've got underemployment issues right now. We've got housing issues. We've got a lot of other issues. We've got some of our own infrastructure issues that we've got to tackle, and that's going to require public funds to invest in. Our public works facility, our EMS facility, our jail. So I'm just saying, I don't feel like we're in a position right now to invest millions of dollars in economic development when there are other pieces and parts of that we need to continue to work on to make sure we have a workforce here that can even attract an industrial, setting that we're shooting for. And so we're down the road on some of these things. I'm not opposed to the conversation. I think we need to have lots of conversations with the city. I feel like it's being railroaded through us right now by the city. I know people have been involved in the conversation. That might be a little strong, and I apologize if that's too strong.
It might be a little too strong.
I apologize if that's too strong, but I feel like it's kind of like, what's the rush? We haven't even had these conversations yet.
Yeah.
Really,
No,
as
I
a
agree.
group.
Here's the rush. Here's the rush. The only reason there's a rush, Tom, if I may, the only reason there's a rush at all is because we're coming up on, and during budget season on the appropriations. If there's any future of this right now, this year, with EDA, we have to determine whether or not we're going to see it or the existing EDP, or have a step down or a step up or whatever. That's the only reason it's pertinent right now. I'm not trying to rush it. I don't care. We need to have this joint collaborative get together and discussion on the thing.
I agree with you 100%. And also, I have to agree with my partner back of me here. In a way, there's a lot of questions in my mind.
We have a lot of questions.
We formed this interlocal agreement with the city, which I think it's good to always get along with your neighbor. But there's so many questions in my mind. Who are we going to appoint to really be in charge of, the council was talking about the amount of money and so on a while ago. Who's going to be responsible for really going out and bringing these businesses in? Jamie, he alluded to there a minute ago, we have professional people doing that now, which I'm not 100% happy with them, but they are professionals. And here we're going to have to set up an organization between the city and the county to do this. We're going to have to hire people, and that's going to take a lot of money to go out. That's the question I have. How are we going to, the city is not going to answer a lot of questions.
Okay.
I guess, so.
Judge.
We already did that.
Wait a minute, he's next.
Actually,
Tom.
I had started and somebody jumped in on me, so, but whatever. It's okay, go.
Tom?
I'm going to be in agreement with Magistrate Gay on land acquisition, and he mentioned 4 or 5 other components that need to fall in place first. And if you go back 3 months, you'll find in the minutes and the record of our previous meetings when we first started talking about an EDA and land was mentioned, I've been in those same seminars, and we buy land for $1 million, and the taxpayer needs to know this. To get that land property developed is going to be another $5 or $6 million. That is going to fall on some deaf ears in the community. If we have not first addressed 650 jobs that are going calling right now, if we have not addressed the fact that we couldn't possibly accommodate 200 of those families moving into this community because we don't have housing And I see those as components of an EDA that are first addressed long before we ever talk about spending $6 million for a plot of ground to attract someone that we don't know is coming.
Okay.
So the figures you're talking about would be relevant if we're looking at Lexington or we're looking at Louisville. Tracts of land in Boyle County and the surrounding areas are not as expensive.
But proportionally, they'd be the same.
I would disagree, but we need to start somewhere. And to Magistrate Sammons' point, you know, we fund a good portion of the EDP, you know, and we have somebody that runs it for us who, you know, I don't always see eye to eye with the things that he does, but he's done a great job with keeping businesses here. We have an issue, and we've said it all along, that we don't have a good opportunity to entice businesses to come here. So that's the reason we're trying to figure out something different. That's the point of all of this, is to try to work in a different way, because it's not worked for a very long time. You know, most of us kind of ran on this, that, you know, we need better economic development and we need different ideas. We can't keep using the same playbook we used many, many years ago, because it's not working. And yes, there's always going to be a need of jobs. Most of those jobs are temp jobs in the factories that we do have here. But it's not a bad thing to need a workforce. And we do pull, if you look at the numbers that EDP has produced, we pull most of the jobs that we need, or that we have now, are pulled from the surrounding counties. They're coming here because this is kind of a better place to come work. But we need to start somewhere. We need to make investments. You can't just expect somebody to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to come here without investments being made. And with investments, if we, again, I've said this before, if we were seeing a good return on our current investment, we would put more money into it, because we're getting money from taxes that are being paid. But we are not seeing that, so therefore we're looking at this in a negative way, like, oh, we're going to have to spend money. Well, if we were getting money, we could spend money. We don't have a lot of the money right now to spend, because we're just treading water with the businesses we have. So we've had opportunities that we've talked about before that have wanted to come in here and invest in Boyle County, and for various reasons they haven't. They went elsewhere. And that's a huge reminder of why we're having this conversation. We've been reacting instead of being proactive. And this EDA is a proactive opportunity. This has worked in other places, and we just kind of need to move the ball forward instead of kind of just sitting here and trying to hash out all the small stuff. Yeah,
Well,
I agree. We do need to meet with people, so.
Yeah, we need to wrap this conversation up. We got a lot more to do in a little time, but go ahead.
I'd like to say just one thing. I was talking to some maintenance people works at R&R Donnelly, it's not called that now. And they said they can't find help.
Nobody can.
They can't find help nowhere, nobody, but when they do find help, they'll come into work one day and won't come back the next day. So what's happened with that factory now is they're farming all their tools out to make magazines somewhere else. And, you know, if this is happening to R&R Donnelly, been here for a long time, then we're thinking about bringing another factory in here. The first thing they're going to look at is help.
Amen.
They're going to see if we got the qualified people, or people that even will come in and apply for the job. So if they can't find that, they're not coming in this county. I worked in the factory 17 years, GE, so, hey, I know how it works.
I agree.
They'll come and go, though, but so if we're
Anything
not.
else? Okay. This was just not a vote, it's just discussion. Letting you know that I got this before you. Miss Julie will talk with Earl today. We'll try to get a date where we can all collectively get together and have this discussion again. That's good. But just for time's sake, and we don't have to finish at 10:30, which is the Mike Wilder recognition, but it's 10:15, and I don't want to cut anybody short. I want to give everybody their district time. I want to hear everything. The business license program was in your packet. It's a first read for you to consider. I'd like for you to mark it up and offer any other comments you may have right now going forward that you want, that are glaring in your mind to help Julie and I determine if we're on the right track or not.
I really like this. I do too.
Yes, please, Julie.
Just a few points is, before I start writing any more ordinances, I wanted to see if this is close to what you're thinking. Something else is, I plan on using this as a filter for the first probably 2 years to capture revenue that we are not collecting. And there is a considerable amount out there that we're finding, one being contractors, one being short-term rentals. Again, we've had our conversation about the other industry that we're trying to capture. The other area that this will help with is there's a lot of outside contractors, outside companies that come into Danville and do business, and we never see them, or we never collect from them. I mean, there's industries out there that are in the medical field that are sending nurses in, sending doctors in, and we may or may not get those. And so I feel like something like this will help us start filtering those people through. We have no way right now, we have nothing to hold over a business if they don't pay their taxes other than the court system. Renewing a business license would help with that. So that's the whole premise of this. I ran this past Rich Ornstein and I put his opinion in your packet from CAECO. I don't know any other way to sort of filter through and capture revenue that we're not collecting other than to have an annual renewal. And your license for your business license would be contingent on being current with your accounts downstairs.
Judge, are you simply looking for a sense from the magistrates today on this, no vote or anything?
Correct.
Then I, for one, would be willing to sit with Julie on some ideas that I have, but I think it's an extraordinary
I would like for
accomplishment.
everybody to, if they're willing to do that, if you don't want to come in person, email, call, let us know what you think.
But
We'll make changes.
This is far, far more than we've ever had to work with. We have nothing to work with, in my knowledge, and it's so essential we do something like this.
And I
In addition, I know $100 sounds like a lot every year, but I do envision maybe in year 3 of rebating part of that back against their tax code. So if you owe a tax, perhaps once we get everything cleared through, then we can work on how we make this better for businesses. But we need something immediately to capture revenue and renew licenses for contractors and things like that. We just don't have a way to do it.
I voice Magistrate Sammons moving right along on this.
All right, this one, we could have this discussion for years, and then really came up with solutions, so this is a step forward.
Thank you.
And we've lost a lot of money over those years,
Yes,
I
you
might
can only
add.
go back 5 years. I did not know that until I started.
Started reading KRS, there's a big notebook that you can download on how to do, I mean, it's probably on Saturday. And it does say you can only go back 5 years, so time is important to getting people current, and we are working every day on that, letters go out every day.
Thank you.
All right, I have, is Shannon out there? Judge, is Shannon Green out there?
I think so.
Yeah, Shannon? Good morning.
I just have one comp agreement for your approval. It's Michelle Kurtzinger from the clerk's office.
We approve the comp
Second.
agreement.
Okay, motion to approve the comp time agreement for Ms. Kurtzinger, made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. Anything else, Shannon? How's Cronus Fielding going, real quick?
We've got most people clocking in and out, seems to be doing well.
Okay,
There are a few bugs, but we're working on it.
all right, very good, thank you.
making people accountable.
Next, Keegan Hinkle.
Well, guys, I spent a great deal of time on the budget last night and this morning. Probably about 90% of the way done here after all of our meetings. I know we got a bunch of meetings this week, so there's some gaps. Obviously, we got some stuff to decide on, but for the most updated first look at it, I got copies for everybody. So here it is. If you want a copy, I'll give it to you.
Okay. Just go ahead and pass them around. Take time, pass them around. Anything else? No. All right. We'll start with district reports, and we'll go by district, District 1.
I am thrilled to announce that thanks to Bobby Derrick, and if you know him, he does a lot of contract work for the state. He notified me late on Friday afternoon that the Perryville Bridge project is funded by the state. Kelly Baker had written to me last week or 10 days ago, basically to say, yep, it's in the docket, but we've got to see what the bids come in at. It actually came in below what the state had even thought might be the low bid.
That's good.
I notified all the folks on city council, the judge, a few others, and yesterday I was delighted to have a wonderful phone conversation with Mayor Ann Sleet, retired. She was thrilled. Secondly, Constitution Square, the inmates are buying their flowers, our flowers, of course, as we approved from Boyle County High School FFA. Thirdly, related to the jail and the inmates, their garden is going to also be buying plants from the Boyle County FFA. And the inmates have a wonderful garden out back. If you haven't seen it on Facebook, take a look at it. Their own internal food service will gain. Our taxpayers will not be paying for a lot of the vegetables that they pull out, and anything extra will be given to needy in the community. And lastly, I had a good conversation with Mayor Paris last week. The 120-foot Tuggle Road, Perryville Road water tower will likely be completed and operational by November or December. And I have talked to him about trying to get antenna on top of it for fire, EMS, the sheriff's office, cell phones, internet, anything else in terms of our communication needs, not just in my district, but all across the county. And he will look at that favorably.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see, Patrick Short.
No.
Nothing? Let's see, who's? And Patrick Cullen.
No, I'm good.
That's Gay.
Just as Keegan pointed out, I do want to remind everybody, so I don't have to text you at night before the meeting, that we have some special called budget meetings coming up, April 29th at 9 a.m. to talk about Sheriff, EMS, and Public Works. April 30th at 9 a.m., special workshop to talk about appropriations and general fund. And then May 4th, another workshop, 9 o'clock for animal control, environmental services, EMA, coroner, and building inspector. And the finance committee did have a chance to meet yesterday morning and kind of have a first glance at the budget and have some budget discussions. And so we hope everybody's ready to work through the budget process here.
Just be sure and remind Phil the day before. Okay?
Right.
It is request.
Thank you, that's all.
I'll be quick because this is Mike Wilder's day, and I think it's so great that we are doing this. Something happened on April the 15th. We have heard one person who was involved, his story. We have not heard the other people involved, their story. I think we should hear from those who were in the hallway, who saw what they saw, and share with the court, because the court, in the letter that was received, our process was questioned. I think we have the right to defend ourselves by knowing the facts of what really happened. I don't know what the process is. It's up to us, or maybe you judge, but I do think that our people's days in court should be heard.
I appreciate, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, I agree with you, and I haven't decided on what that response would be, but I think there needs to be a response. So.
May I say that the one side was made public,
Yes.
so I think ours should be public, or the
Probably-
defense should be public also.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
They should, our employees should have their day in court.
I agree. All right, does anybody have anything else?
We adjourn.
A motion has been made, we move to adjourn.
Second.
Made by Magistrate Sammons, and seconded by Magistrate Short. Gentlemen, I thank you for your due diligence today, and I ask that you remain, if you can, to enjoy the rest of the morning as we commemorate some of the service time that we've had by Mike Wilder, our Emergency Management Director. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.